Hello, everyone. My name is Darcy Fisher, and on this episode of Ask Our Experts from Mainstay Supportive Housing, we're going to be looking at a service offered through the MBTA known as the Ride and talking about the difference between the Ride and Ride Flex. So, joining us today, please welcome Meghann Ackerman, who is the Deputy Director of Communications for the Ride. And Meghann, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Darcy. I'm excited to share some information about the ride and Ride Flex.
Awesome. Well, let's dive right in with our first question, which is the obvious. Can you describe the difference? What is the difference between the ride and the ride flex?
Yeah, absolutely. So the ride is a mode of public transportation that's part of the MBTA, and it's for people who have disabilities that prevent them from being able to use other forms of public transportation, like the buses or subways. Customers can use it as much as they would like, within our service hours, obviously. And we provide, or our drivers provide door-to-door service and some assistance to customers in getting to and from the vehicle. The Ride Flex is an optional program that we started a few years ago where customers can sign up and get a certain number of subsidized trips on either Uber or Lyft.
Mhm.
They can schedule those the same way anyone else would schedule an Uber or Lyft right from the app. Lyft also has a call-in option if that works better for someone. But basically, we are just providing you with essentially a coupon or a subsidy that brings the price down. Most customers are paying $3 for those rides. For some of the longer trips, you may end up paying a little bit more if it goes beyond the subsidy that we provide. The other part of the Ride Flex is that if you opt in, you're also giving us permission so that we may shift some of your trips that you schedule with the ride to either Uber or Lyft.
Gotcha.
But because they don't provide that same door-to-door service, customers can
Mhm.
opt out on any trip if they would prefer it be provided by the ride on a ride vehicle. They can let their reservationist know that when they're booking their trip. So the Ride Flex is just another option that gives customers a little bit of flexibility. For example, we currently can't do same day trips on the ride. So having the Ride Flex and using Uber or Lyft gives you that option of being able to schedule right when you're ready to take a trip.
Great. So it sounds like people can mix and match the services. Anything to add about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So as I mentioned, it right now is our one option for same day travel. One way I've seen customers kind of use the service and sort of mix and match the ride and ride flex is if they're going to an event that they don't know the end time of. Like,
Mm,
for example, you're going to meet your friends for dinner and the reservation's at 6 o'clock. So, you want to be to the restaurant by 6 o'clock. You might schedule the ride for that. But you're not sure what time dinner is going to get over. You don't want to be rushed, but you also don't want to be sitting there for an hour after all your friends leave because you're waiting
very
for the
true.
ride. So in that case, you might decide for my trip home, I'm going to use one of my subsidized Uber or Lyft trips and just schedule that as soon as I'm ready to leave.
Great. It's excellent flexibility. And in terms of the actual service area, can you talk about that?
Yeah, so the Ride and the Ride Flex both operate in the same service area.
Hmm.
The Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA, requires that transportation agencies like the MBTA provide paratransit service within 3/4 of a mile of the buses, subways, and trolleys.
Hmm.
So that is the bulk of our service area. We do have a few areas over the years that have been added in. Those are they're called a premium area. The fare is a little bit higher, and those areas are a little bit farther outside of sort of the downtown core.
Sure.
But customers can still take Ride Flex in the premium areas as well.
All right. Can we talk a bit about scheduling? How does that work?
Sure. So if you're scheduling a ride trip, you have a few options. You can call the Ride Access Center or track
Mhm.
and speak to a reservationist and schedule your trip that way. We also have a customer app and a web portal on our website that customers can use to schedule their own trips. And if you're someone who's already familiar with Uber or Lyft, our app is going to feel pretty familiar. It's sort of similar steps to set up a trip. Um, if you are a Ride Flex customer and you want to use one of those subsidized on-demand trips, you would schedule that yourself, either through your Uber or Lyft app. Or if you've decided to go with the Lyft call-in option, you would call in and speak to someone to book your trip on Lyft that way.
Very good. Well, again, thank you for joining us today. We so appreciate the information and your time. And if you're watching and you need a bit more information, please call us at 617-431-5400, or you can email at contact@mainstayliving.org. Thank you for watching and have a great day.